Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your neighborhood Unitarian Universalist congregation. My name is Suzanne Mazars. I'm the music director here. We have our guests, the Spirit Singers, visiting us to provide music for our service today, and it's good to be with all of you. Thank you for being here. I have your announcements for the coming week. Last week, the new art show opened here in our space on the West Gallery. We have Lauren Renzetti's Meadow Meditations. And in the East Gallery, Ravinder Ruprai's Angry Red Lines. Take a moment to check it out after service or anytime during the week. Pastoral care here at Neighborhood. Just want to remind everyone that even though we do not have a minister right now, we do offer pastoral care support with Reverend Pat Trudeau. You can contact Pat for short-term pastoral care on a totally confidential basis and set up a time to speak with her in person, via phone or Zoom, to discuss issues that you are seeking spiritual guidance and support on. To reach Rev Pat, you can email her at pastoralcare@nuuc.ca. Anyone is welcome to reach out to her. On Sunday, December 25th, come to Neighborhood's sharing service. We'll share a meal, share what we've learned, and share blessings for each other. Are you interested in sharing? The service could use some help putting it together. You can talk to Peter Marmorek, who's taking the lead on that service on the 25th. Ongoing activities, Spirit Choir rehearses here Monday evening, 7 to 9 p.m. If you're interested in joining the choir, talk to me. Pilates class happens here only till the end of this year. If you're interested in checking it out, that's Wednesday mornings at 11. And as I mentioned, Pat Trudeau is available for individual meetings, but also opens the doors here to have tea and conversation every Friday at 4. You can drop in for a chat. Dance into winter. Neighborhood members and friends are invited to join the annual Toronto Winter Solstice Circle Dance, being held here in this space on Saturday, December 17th from 7 to 9:30. No experience or partner is needed, and each dance will be taught by members of Toronto's long-standing sacred circle dancing community who are hosting. If you would like more information, you'll find it in the announcements, or you can speak to Moira. Speaking of the announcements, ways to stay informed. Our calendar is kept up to date by Hala, our office manager. You need to contact her if you plan on or want to have an event or use our space. And also, if you would like to receive emails about what's going on here, we have a Monday mailing that goes out each week. To get on the list to receive those emails, write to her at office@nuuc.ca. Coming to your inbox tomorrow is Neighborhood's congregational survey. This is an opportunity to tell us about yourself and your experience of our congregation. The survey will help you, our leadership, and our future minister understand who we are better. Please complete by December 19th. And again, if you're not on our email list and want to participate, you need to contact Hala, office@nuuc.ca. Pleased to announce we are hosting the Sinfonia Toronto String Quartet, which includes our own member, Tony Rappaport, is here today, for a concert called Music for the Longest Night, Mozart, Beethoven, and Puccini. This is a free concert, and it begins at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, December 21st. And next Sunday, our theme will be Preparing Ourselves as You Use for Joy. Our speaker will be attending long distance, Reverend Donna Dolam, music by our own Spirit Band, and our service weaver will be Kurt Thompson.
Welcome to Sunday service. There we go. at Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist Congregation. My name is Peter Marmorek, and I have the great pleasure of being your service weaver today. I'm glad you could join us. Our theme for December is that the soul is here for its own joy. December. I'm sure we've all noticed how many things we're called on to do in December. We have to do things for others, for our families, for holidays. It all seems a very long way away from contemplating our souls. But you've all chosen to be here today, and that is something that can feed your soul, however you might conceive of what exactly that slippery word soul means. 25 years ago, Aristotle said that full actualization, the full essence of a living thing, constitutes its soul. Our bodies are here today, some of them via Zoom, which Aristotle did not fully consider. So if we bring our hearts, our minds, and our spirits here as well, then our soul must be here. Together, our souls define a sacred space. This is our threshold moment. Our service begins now. Our chalice today will be lit by Christina Keel. And our prelude today, Freedom is Coming, is by the Spirit Singers.
She needs the microphone, Peter.
Sorry?
She needs the microphone.
That's okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Zoriah, and we are the Spirit Singers. The Spirit Singers are a social justice choir, and we're passionate about spreading awareness through music by singing songs that bring us hope, positivity, and remind us that there is indeed a light at the end of the tunnel. From songs advocating for peace, justice, and freedom, to music promoting equity, confidence, and commemorating historically significant events, the Spirit Singers are here today with a diverse repertoire we hope you will enjoy. With us today, we have Isabel Bernaus conducting and leading our choir. We also have Ileana Wang on the piano, and also Susan Mazars, who you have been introduced already, and no, she's helping us with the drums for the first two songs. So we will start with Freedom is Coming. It is a South African freedom song performed by all choirs around the world. Adapted from the gospel version, Jesus is Coming, the new rendition of the song has changed the words to include freedom, peace, and justice by South Africans committed to ending the apartheid. Thank you. Freedom is coming, oh yes, I'm freedom. Freedom is coming, oh yes, I know. 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 Thank you. For our next song, we have Nayan.
It's good that they're enthusiastic. I know that the Wendat, the Anishinaabeg Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Mississaugas of the New Credit lived here as First Nations before me and are living here now, together with the Inuit and the Métis. I am grateful for their teachings, for the care of the land, and for their spiritual paths. I have learned much from these teachings and hope to be able to repay some of what I've been given. Zoriah Getchell facilitates our Sunday Child and Caregiver program. Our musical director, Suzanne Mazars, is with us today, together with our musical guests, the wonderful Spirit Singers. Unitarian Universalism is open to many beliefs and learns from many traditions. We always welcome people here to our community, and if you're visiting us for the first time, we encourage you to stay after service for coffee time to get a chance to know us better and to talk to us. Our services vary considerably in form from week to week, so sampling several will give you a better feel for who we are. What we believe in is summed up in our mission: to empower spiritual growth and shared action for the care of the world. Today's theme is the call of the soul. The soul is a difficult thing to define, but I'm always willing to rush in where angels fear to tread. It's a complex question. Some of us, I would guess, aren't quite sure there is a soul. Of others, some probably believe in the soul as spiritual and immortal, others as material and mortal. Historically, there have been wars fought over the exact definition of the soul, over where you are supposed to dot your T's or cross your I's. So let's agree instead on what the soul is not. It isn't what ads tell us to buy. It isn't whom we're told to vote for. It isn't who we support. It isn't what our culture inculcates from outside of us. It is certainly something that is inside us and unique to each of us. Chris asks us today in the question at the end of the service, can you think of a time when you heard the call of your soul? So I thought about it, and what came to mind for me was something in 2005 when I had just left my job as a high school teacher, really because it was a job that was no longer feeding my soul. I spent a year and a half trying to decide what would feed my soul and set up an online creative writing course, The Writer's Craft. I designed the website and then thought, well, how much should I charge for a 4-month course? I thought about my high school income, my retirement income, how I could stay at the same level, made some assumptions about how many students I could handle. And then I went into a sweat lodge, which for me has always been the best place to go deeper. And in the heat and the dark, what came to me that night was that I needed to let go of the money piece if I wanted the writer's craft to be something that fed my soul. That I needed the writer's craft to be a number of things in my life, and making a lot of money wasn't really one of them. So I let go of that, and I had a really successful dozen years until it was time to move on to the next thing. But for me, and your mileage, as they say, may vary, the voice that told me in the sweat lodge to let go was the voice of my soul. And I know that those moments when I can hear that voice are my most important moments. As the great American poet E.E. Cummings said, "We do not believe in ourselves until someone reveals that deep inside us something is valuable, worth listening to, worthy of our trust, sacred to our touch. Once we believe in ourselves, we can risk curiosity, wonder, spontaneous delight, or any experience that reveals the human spirit." And now it's time to greet your neighbors. After you've greeted a few neighbors, turn to the camera at the back wall and offer a greeting to those joining us virtually. Suzanne will sound the chime to end. Now take a moment to greet the neighbors around you.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, Sigrid. Hi, Lorraine.
Good morning, Dee Dee. Good
Hi,
morning,
Susan.
Bet.
Julie.
Hi,
Hi,
Dee Dee.
Morning.
Hi,
Hi,
Dina.
Hi,
Lorraine.
Susan.
Hi, Janet.
Hello,
Hi,
Sigrid.
Susan.
Julianne.
Hi,
Hey,
there's two
Janet.
Susans, both of you.
Hello, Susan W.
Hi, Lorraine. Is that any more?
Morning, everyone. Hi,
Hi,
Bill and
It's Doug
Brenda.
calling
Hi,
Hey,
Janet.
Hi, Doug.
Dina. Hi.
you.
Hi, sweetheart.
Doug.
Good to see you all.
Yes.
Hello,
Hi,
Jillian.
Then there's
Jillian, we're going to see Lorena McKenna together, I hear.
Yes, I can't wait.
We're
when?
Awesome.
volunteering at the door, and so we're getting in for free. I'm so excited.
Me too. Me too. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not.
Lorena was in Poplar Hill.
Oh, yeah, are you serious? She's really astounding. She's coming here to Eastminster to the building. So Big
Wow.
Sanctuary. So it'll be just lovely. I think the acoustics are going to be amazing. She likes performing in churches.
Churches. Yeah.
Did you go see her, Sigrid?
No, she came to visit us in Poplar Hill.
Uh-huh.
Privately, so don't share too much, but privately.
Okay. Okay.
And now I
Okay.
invite you all to join me in reading our invocation, which will be projected on various screens all around us. It's building up the tension, really. Let us cast the circle of a sacred space here.
I am back at the right time. For our next song, we will be performing Wayaya by Osibisa. That's right. Is a song composed and produced by 7 musicians from Ghana and South Africa. Interestingly, the spelling of Wayaya with an open O is the same that was used for the album. Actually comes from the Ghanaian language Ga and translates to "we are going." The song reminds us that we should keep on going no matter what the struggles are in our lives. And we hope you take that message by listening to this song. Thank you very much.
And I just want to invite everyone, as you're listening, of course, you're welcome to sing along with the Spirit Singers. Why not? Let's put some energy in our bodies this morning, everyone.
We got there. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to invite all of the young and young at heart to gather on the carpet because it's time for our Time for All Ages. I'm going to start our time today by thanking Chris Emmanuel, a member of Neighborhood who's going to be talking to us today about the call of the soul. Thank you, Chris. So I have a question for my friends on the carpet. What do you think living authentically means? Do you have an idea? Okay. If you don't have an idea, that's okay. What I understand of living authentically is that it means that you're living and acting in ways that fit with who you are inside your head and inside your heart. Because of that, it means different things for different people. For me, for example, part of living authentically is singing loudly along with my music as I walk through the city. Another part of it was coming out as transgender, using she, her pronouns, and changing my name to Zoriah. For other people, it might mean other things. For example, and I'll open these questions up to everybody, you can raise your hands. Who here likes to sing? Lots of you, yeah. Not everyone, but not everyone. Who here likes to write? Maybe stories or poems? Still a lot of you. Who likes to play games? Games? Yeah. Any type of game. And who likes to exercise? Well, you know, knowing these things about you is one of the first parts of living authentically, which means we need to explore, to try different things, to figure out what we like and what we don't like, to figure out who we are in our soul. And then you just try and live into it. And that sounds simple, right? You just do the things you like. Or an equally important part, don't do the things you don't like. But it sounds simple and maybe easy enough to do. And sometimes it can be, but sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes you might be in a big crowd full of people who are doing things that just doesn't feel right to you. And it can be really hard not to join them, to be the only person not participating. But it's important to be as authentically yourself as possible, as often as possible. Because sometimes you'll be told you have to do something that doesn't feel right to you, or that you can't do something that's really important. And when that happens, it's easier to do what you know is right for you, the more practice you have with it. It's important to live authentically for many reasons. It can help you feel happier, and it can make you not regret things. Almost most importantly, it can inspire other people who notice you to live as their authentic selves. And the more people living authentically, the more joy there is in the world, right? So I hope that all of you will practice it with me going forward. But for now, I think we should head back into our room, don't you think? Oh, you have a question. What's your question? Really quick.
Like what kind of regret?
Well, just if you do something that it turns out later you really didn't want to do, or if you don't do something that it turns out later you really did want to do. Now, I don't have a specific example, but we can talk more about it in the back, okay? Okay. Thanks, buddy.
Ne-
Thank you. We will continue with our third song for this morning. We will sing El Sholsa Devarim by Alan Neplin. It's a lyrical setting of Hebrew text from Jewish liturgy. The song translates to "The world is sustained by three things: truth, by justice, and by peace." Even though the language may be unfamiliar to some, we hope the message will be delivered and carried through our rendition and performance today. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It's actually a nice Sunday. It's not too cold out today. Let us all come together in meditation and celebrate our oneness. If you're willing, please join me in this meditation. In this meditation, we will connect to the undefined part of ourselves. Find a comfortable place within yourself as you sit or as you are. I invite you to gently close your eyes, if you're willing. Just feel the weight of your body as you are. Just be here now. Allow your shoulders to relax. Feel this relaxation transfer down your arms to your hands as they sit comfortably on your lap or beside your body. Now bring focus to your breath. Just feel the air entering your nose as you fill your lungs and gently exhale. Allow your belly to soften as you continue breathing. Now, imagine yourself in a beautiful place of your choice. It could be next to a waterfall, or in a forest, on a bench, or in the garden, wherever you choose it to be. Just imagine whatever that is for you. Now, think of loved ones or a loved one that you have in your life. They could be in your present or your past. Imagine them as you would like. Hold them in your heart as you continue to breathe deeply. Continue to experience them with whatever you shared that connected your being. Love, a special bond, enduring moments, something that might have changed you in a profound way. Feel their essence through your heart. And just rest there for a while. Just enjoy that place. And now, you may start to feel your breath again through your nostril. And you may now return to the room and keep that feeling with you. Please come back. I know when we go to those places, we sometimes don't want to be here. So today, the theme of the month is the soul is here for its own joy. My talk today is titled The Call of the Soul. First, I want to thank you all for being here. And I also want to thank you congregation all across North America, where I have visited and shared my gift for art and spirit. You helped me nurture my soul. As I stand here, I remember the 11-year-old boy who stood barely reaching the podium. A daunting audience stared back at me as I nervously delivered my first testament of faith at Danforth Gospel Hall, a small community church near Woodbine. My family of 7 lived a few blocks away. I had stumbled onto the church while playing with my friends, and my first yearning to serve had called me in every Sunday. Till I was 14, I studied the Bible late at night after school. Everyone was going to hell, and I had to save them. I carried the holy book to school, beating my friends with teaches and verses at every occasion. I was on a mission to save souls. At the dinner table, to my mother's chagrin and my brothers and sisters, they would scatter when I started pounding proclamations at dessert time. "Oh no, here he goes again," they would say. As they hurried off, quieter surroundings, I had a spiritual virus that no one wanted. The day I told my mother I wanted to be a minister and go to Africa, I imagined leaving the next day to fulfill my destiny. "No," she said, "you're too young." I was crushed. I thought that's all there was. Little did I know there's more to being a minister than just reading words and speaking from the Bible. I quit and I focused on my art and my school. However, the flame of the mission never went out. It just simmered till later. Under the guidance of my father, who was a theosophist, I studied world religion and faiths. Later, when I moved to Belize to open an art gallery, I ministered in a church for 2 years. In my travels to the US, I became an interfaith minister. Interfaith. Most people don't know what interfaith means. Interfaith, like Unitarians, believe in respecting individuals' rights to choose their spiritual path. We also share the wisdom from many spiritual traditions. As a boy, I believed I had a soul calling, an urge to serve, and here I am today. Do you believe you have a soul? Some people don't. like my brother-in-law. He thinks when we die, that's it. He tells me we're just energy and we become a rock or a tree. Wow. I listen as he goes on and tells me that meditation is mindlessness. He's right in a way. And that all spiritual mumbo jumbo is just mumbo jumbo. I don't take it personal. We're all entitled to choose what we believe. However, I have experienced something different and different realities. Like the time as a little boy, while I was drawing a picture, I felt I had done this before in another body and another time. Have you ever experienced that? When we get those profound experiences, they often stay with us, guiding us for more meaning and purpose in our lives. The fact that you are all here, gathered in fellowship, tells me that you might believe that we have a soul, spirit, essence, whatever you want to call it, something that is ethereal, body, and it's undefined. As Peter said, it's a slippery slope to try and define what a soul is. And thank God for that. Believe me, if there was a scientific evidence behind it, we'd be in a lot of trouble. But we all know that we're part of something greater that is beyond our physical, mental, and emotional being. Neighborhood is a place where we can celebrate this. Many of us probably have had our soulful experiences, a soul moment. The message today is to remind us that we're all more than we think we are. I will share with you what I call the way soul guidance show up in our lives, using the acronym SOUL, the still small voice, opening, understanding, and light. S, the still small voice. Sometimes it's without words. We don't know how, but we have a feeling, an urge. It's an opening. An opportunity opens and we become aware of something else, something bigger. There's an understanding that we sometimes get. It becomes clear that we're more than what we think. And then there's that light, right? That aha moment where something profound within us changes and our lives changes, sometimes forever. How many of you have experienced what I call a soul moments? Can you remember a time when you heard the call of the soul? Let's take a few people now. Does anyone want to share just briefly an experience of call of the soul? Sure. There you go.
I remember the first day of my art therapy training, and we sat down to do an exercise, and I had the feeling of being at home.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Somebody else? Sure.
When oh gosh, I don't remember how old I was because teenage years are strange. But I got my letter. I had applied for Wexford Collegiate School for the Arts here, specifically wanting music theater, and I tanked the dance audition, let me tell you. But I got the acceptance letter and I didn't know it was acceptance, but it was a very thick envelope. Should have been my first clue. I took it and I ran into my room and I opened it and it said I got in, and I burst into tears. I will never forget that moment.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll take one more. I'll come to you. Okay, Lynn.
Thank you. 40 years ago, my father was very ill and he was in the hospital in Barrie, and I was also in the same hospital. And I woke up early, like 5:30, and I said, something significant just happened, Lynn, but go back to sleep, but don't want to look at it. And then when I got up around 8, I went to the floor, to the room where my dad was, and it was empty. I said to the nurse, oh, when she walked by, where is Mr. Evans? And she said, Mr. Evans died this morning.
Yes, I think this is as much as we can imagine what the soul will be like, these are all signs that we were contacted somehow. We are more. I believe there's a yearning in all of us to find out who we are on a spirit level. Many times, though, we're overwhelmed in our physical lives to even pay attention to the call of the soul. But I think the soul is continually reaching for us, isn't it? The soul is here for its own joy. When I heard that, I was like, yeah, right. There's so many things going on in life. They're not joyous. What is this joy that the soul is looking for? To experience the soul sometimes requires a shift. It's often moving away from roles in our society and seeking growth, fulfillment, and alignment with a greater part of who you are to live more authentically. But when we're fully attuned to the soul, every moment is joyous and it becomes a call of the soul. However, our world is filled with distractions. Every moment we're being pulled in so many ways. We often find the soul calling in the middle of suffering. Many times when life is good, we say, it's okay. I don't need to talk to anybody. Have you ever had a small ping or inner knowing when you're driving that tells you to go down that road, but you ignore it because Suri is right? And the map says so, and the person beside you is sure you're wrong, only to find out later that you're more lost than you ever were. We don't always listen to our soul. There are others to please, the needs of the house, children, work, partners, lovers, and on and on. What about the health needs or that pie that you know you shouldn't have, but you do it anyways? Rumi writes about these distractions in his poem. Can I have the poem up? The guest house. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of the furniture. Still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thoughts, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. We are often receiving clues from the soul, I believe. Our soul is connected to a deeper part of ourselves, and it can lead us to freedom and peace. One winter, while I was traveling on 401, ice buried under snow caused my car to spin uncontrollably. I panicked. I tried to stare. The view outside my window accelerated as I contemplated thoughts of my imminent death. Then, remarkably, everything seemed to slow down. In the midst of chaos, I heard a voice. It was almost like I was transported to a different reality. It said, "It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay." Darkness covered me and the car continued to spin, then stop. Did I black out? I wasn't sure if I did. I became aware of cars whizzing by me on a noonday, as the noonday sun bridged over the horizon. Looking out my window side, I had found my car nestled to the guardrail on the roadside, safely away from traffic. You can imagine the feeling of immense joy and gratitude. At that moment, an awareness opened up to me. Where was that voice coming from? I believe that was a soul call. It comforted me in my moment of distress. It opened me to something greater. I became swept up. I understand there was more going on that I had no idea about. And then there was the light turned on. Something profound said to me, how can I hear this voice more often? It gave me hope. We can all use this kind of guidance on a daily basis for the tough stuff of life, can't we? Wouldn't it be nice if our soul could communicate with us every day like that? But it doesn't. It's such a touch and go thing. And can we trust it? Many times when we hear voices, people go, oh, you're hearing voices again. You don't want to tell anybody, but sometimes it saves you out of the hardest time. It's like a spirit gap that we all enter where we connect to something that's more, where we lose separation and we feel one with everything else. This is the wisdom, I believe, of the soul. This is the call. Wisdom is illumination. The wisdom, I believe, the soul is mining through us, through all of our experiences. Moments when we understand deeper who we are. We're more than the body, more than the emotions, more than the thoughts. All these parts of illuminations the Buddhists tell us about. It's all an illusion. As Ram Dass puts it, we're all just God in drag, man. The internal soul is living through all of us. It's expanding just like the universe. Could it be that the soul is seeking clarity through each of our lives and our experiences? We are continually being urged to look deeper in times we cannot comprehend. Why? Why is this happening to me? That's what I said when I got COVID last week. I was like, why? I don't understand. I think the soul is a jester sometimes. Soul moments urge us to expand our vision. Have you experienced a time when you notice something you haven't seen, even though you walk by it every day? It's like a tree or a store in your neighborhood. All of a sudden, it's like, where did this come from? Because you're open to the awareness and you weren't before. Soul moments can illuminate our world, making sense of nonsense, showing us a path we never imagined, bringing greater value to our lives. How can we get better at listening to the soul? It's like the soul can be such a subtle hint. It's like the smile on a loved one's lips just before they depart that tells us it's okay. Everything is going to be okay. How can we better hear the soul? Climate change, inflation, pandemic, wars. I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel powerless. Things I never imagined happen. But there are simple ways to know that your soul is calling you. If you find an urge to come to you more often, that's possibly the soul calling you. If you're asking for more meaning in your life, if you feel a need to volunteer or reach out to a stranger, if you long for meaningful relationship to connect with like-minded individuals, you begin to notice deeper meanings behind discomforts. Instead of complaining, you start to question what's going on. You yearn for a spiritual practice on a daily life. These are all signs that you might be awakening to the soul, that still small voice. It's not always a voice, by the way. It could be just your heart. It's an opening to something greater that you become aware of. And then you start to understand there's more. We're never unfinished. And then there's an illumination that can happen. You experience that aha moment. Okay, that's why it happened. Something is moving the pieces around and you have no control of it. When we're able to listen to the call of the soul, we find opportunities to join the joy of the soul. The soul is an uncharted part of us, and it can lead us to wonder. We're limited and incomplete. So as you contemplate today's question in the breakout room, I leave you with this poem from Rumi. All day I think about it, then at night I say it. Where did I come from? And what am I supposed to be doing? I have no idea. My soul is from elsewhere. I am sure of that. And I intend to end up there. Who looks out with my eyes? What is the soul? I cannot stop asking. If I could taste one sip of the answer, I could break out of this drunken prison of a human being. I just added that because I see, I didn't come here on my own accord and I can't leave that way. Whoever brought me here will have to take me home.
Thank you, Chris. How much would you pay to live for 5 years longer? How much would you pay for 10 years? Yesterday's Guardian newspaper published a fascinating scientific meta-study that concluded that joining a church, a synagogue, or a temple appears to extend your lifespan by those lengths. True. I ask that you keep that length of time in mind during the offertory as we share what we have, as we contribute to the life of this community, and as we affirm our lives within it. Greeters, please bring the baskets to the front when the money is collected, and we will now pause and the spirit singers will sing.
Amazing. For our fourth song, we will be singing This Is Me from The Greatest Showman. I know a lot of people know that song. It's very fun. And it's composed by Benj Pasek and Justin Pailk and performed originally by Keila Settle. This Is Me is from the blockbuster movie, The Greatest Showman, and is a song about being unapologetic, to being yourself and embracing all your strengths and flaws. The song teaches us to be strong, resilient, but to always to stay true to yourself. From our choir, two wonderful performers will take the stage for two solos, including Mrinmay Sengupta for her first solo, and then following Libby Reitman. Just like we talked about being authentic, this song I think really ties in with that today. So I hope you will take that message from our song. Thank you.
I am not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the darkness words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna stand the throne, gonna throw my love. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be.
If you have found love and acceptance here, if you have known kindred spirits here, if you have found a home here, then this donation is a token of that as we work together to build the common good. And now for our closing song.
For our last song today, we will sing Didn't My Lord Deliver Daniel, arranged and adopted by Roger Emerson. It is an African-American spiritual song spanning over many centuries. For its historical significance, enslaved African Americans would sing this song to remind themselves that despite their complex and horrific environment, they believed that there is the light at the end of the tunnel. And they had the faith and they had the hope. By comparing a biblical imagery to the realities of slaves in America, this piece reveals the parallels of life and struggles of the community. Not only was the song performed to signify hope for a better future, songs similar to this have been used as a way to deliver information across the border through the Underground Railroad to send coded messages over and to fight for freedom. Thank you so much for listening to the Spirit Singers today.
And we're going to learn the song so we can sing it all together. The chorus goes, did my Lord deliver Daniel, deliver Daniel, deliver Daniel. Did my Lord deliver Daniel, then why not everyone? So we changed one for man. That was, anyway, slipped in, but it's one, okay? Let's sing it again. You're doing very, very well. You sing in a choir, don't you? Yes, it sounds like this. Didn't let me 3 and didn't my Lord deliver Daniel, deliver Daniel, deliver Daniel. Didn't my Lord deliver Daniel, then why not everyone? Thank you.
I invite Christina up to extinguish our chalice candle as we sing with Suzanne. Today, I will leave you with this blessing from John O'Donohue. May all that is unforgiven in you be released. May your fears yield to your deepest tranquilities. May all that is unlived in you blossom into a future graced with love. In UU traditions and style, we close with a couple of different options. If you are comfortable doing so, take your neighbor's hand or touch their shoulder or touch elbows, connecting physically as we have spiritually. If not, turn to them and say namaste, which means I salute the spirit within you. Our service is over. Go in peace.
Namaste.
Namaste. Amasiminoa.